for me, what to do, Lord. So my life, Lord, my own shall worship.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes. We give God praise and thanks. Hi, T.
Hey, good evening, good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
How are you doing?
I am good. I am good now. I'm good now.
I know, see, yesterday I had to run and get some.
Yeah.
Imagine I was feeling terribly hot, right? So between prayer meeting, and I'm glad you go to 8:30 because then I was able to get everything in. I said, okay, let me take a quick shower. And so I cooled down, and then I wanted some hot tea now. So that combination, right?
That's how it works sometimes. So as I was getting ready for prayer meeting, everything crashed.
Oh no.
My whole system crashed. Nothing worked. Computer, everything, I went down today. Thank God for Apple.
Amen.
I just called them and there were two texts, one on either. One was on this one, one was on my phone, and they're trying to figure out what can cause that. Because I think the Google app wants me to open Yahoo in the Google app so they can give me authentication number. And if you do that, it's not safe for you to have an authentication number. So what I had to do, I had to block Google, and because I blocked Google, Google turned around and blocked Apple ID, which is illegal. They can't do that. So I had to get Apple on the phone to talk to Google to just release my stuff. Thank God I have Apple device. That's only how they can help, because everything is Apple. So they were able to say, no, that's our customer, you put it back on. So they put it back on and everything. And in the middle of the storm, guess who called? John called. And as John called, everything answered. I said, what this guy is calling me for, to pray? I just hope it's not to pray, because, and then everything just come on.
Oh, God is good.
An angel in disguise.
Amen.
We give God thanks for that traumatic experience today.
Hallelujah.
Where's Rebecca? Rebecca McCool is supposed to be on the Amethyst. She's supposed to come on and sit still. She's not. She's not here. Where's Veronica? Good night to everyone. Good night, Gem FM. Good night to the world. Good night to everyone. We have this young guy with us, I don't get back to him tonight. I did not able to call him back tonight from the Ivory Coast. He's a young artist that's coming up, and he's part of my it's part of the Good Morning, my unique prayer. See how far that reached, and he wants us to put him out there on the Good Morning, my unique prayer. So I tell him come on this morning, but it was the hours was totally different. With I think 5 or 6 hours apart. It was kind of confusing for him. It's a young group. So that might happen tomorrow morning. Let us little update. Let us continue to pray for the McIntyre family, and we must never stop praying for them. All children, same age, in their 20s. Wow. Let's keep praying for them that God is gonna continue to embrace them, the family, by the mom's side, by the father's side, will continue to envelope them, hold them tight in their hands, as the mother will, and they'll continue to pray and exalt the name of Jesus. So I know some days it's going to be rough and some days it's going to be okay. So let's continue to pray for the days when it's going to be rough, that the Lord will put a hedge of protection around them, and they too will be able to encourage others that are going through this dark time in their life. Let's continue to encourage the bereaved family throughout the world, wheresoever they are tonight. I want them to know that we are also going to be praying for the bereaved family that lives on the face of the earth, that God will continue to strengthen them, because as old as you are and your mother or your father passed, there is still some pain. There is some, and people show pain in different ways.
Yeah.
Because I know how I show pain, and T know how she show pain, and people may not understand us. How come you're not crying? How come you're not wailing? How come you're not throwing yourself on the ground? We all grieve in different ways. My own might be just smiling. You never know. Hey, I smile a lot. I laugh a lot because I know the God that I serve. So I know He takes care of me. So we give God praise and thanks. What else we had to talk about? This group that I'm part of, not me part of it, the Good Morning, my unique prayer, they are part of that group. And they call anxiety and depression. Some of them is going through such suicidal thoughts. Some of them is they're just at the end of the rope, and this woman. And then I don't know, today I'm in a new group. It's called Marriage in the Room. You should hear men and women cry out. I don't think that they know that my heart is not as brave as it should be sometimes. So I'm talking there to them, and they just put me on some kind of call, and I'm just crying. They're talking and I'm just crying. And they said, "But Tex, we just need some strength from you." I go like, "Well, today Tex have no strength. Can I draw you guys strength?" So it was really traumatic. Another thing that I want to talk about is this young girl in Grenada where she was in the hospital. She gave birth to a little baby boy. And the doctor, I was on the phone with them, with her crying out, when the doctor dragged her into the OR and have a C-section in her. She says, well, before that, the morning conversation, after I finished the show, I got the call. And I was on speakerphone, and probably the doctor did not know at the time. And she was crying and says, no. So I asked the question, what is going on? And she said, well, the doctor says, and then the doctor said, if you allow me to tie your tubes, you will be able to keep the child. So the doctor did not know that I was on the phone. I said, that's illegal. And so I was able to call such and such people. You can sit in Canada and call the Prime Minister in Grenada. Okay, so people don't have that authority, but I have that authority, probably because of the anointing that God has placed upon me. So that was done, and I think she lost her job or something like that. So today, after the police and them beat her up in the hospital a couple of weeks ago because she was not, they tell her, after this, the cesarean, they tell her she have to get out of the hospital. So she told them that she's not gonna leave her child in the hospital. So all this is on my phone, and the police and them, they beat her up in the hospital. So anyway, they kept her in the hospital. They kept her there because the Ministry of Health went in and talk. This morning, I'm in the library and my phone ring and I answer my phone, which I don't usually do. And I hear this screaming. So I had to turn my phone down, and lo and behold, there was the same girl. The police came, and you should see the condition of her face, how they kick her in her face, the shoe print with the mud and everything is on the face, how they beat her in the house and drag her out, and they take the child and go with the child. I wonder who was the commissioner of police. Up to now, I did not get down to it because my day was like, but I will get on that tomorrow, please the Lord, and find out who's the commissioner of police. I would like to talk to somebody to find out something. Like somebody need to stand for this family, because I was on the phone when the boyfriend was in the hospital and the doctor says, no, the conversation was, will you stand with her, with the child? And he says, yes, it's my child, and I'm not gonna give up the child. You guys came in and you take the first two children, and we didn't fight you, but now you're coming back now and take the third one after you promised her that you're gonna have C-section. She did the C-section, and it's not like she willingly went in. You could hear her screaming and says, let me go, I'm not doing it. And you could hear the doctor saying, you have to do, that's only how you will go home with the child. And I spoke to another doctor, and the doctor says, I don't know nothing about that. So could you get the file? She says, there is no file on her. She's in the hospital. She just had a cesarean. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, and you don't have a file that they drag her in and had a C-section. The doctor says, no, I don't know anything about that. So today they will beat her up. And one of them, they hold the man from the back so he could not get free to help her fight the police. And she fought for her dear life, and they still take the child away from her after they drag her in to have the cesarean by fire, by force. Then they turn back now. How much days after now she come from the hospital? Nothing happened to the child. The child come out with perfect health. And then they still go back in and take the child from her. My question to them is, does she have mental illness? The doctor says, we don't think so. I say, okay. So my thing is, if she's on mental lockdown, you could have the husband take the baby for a couple of days. Once she get out and she's on meds, she's okay. I speak to her every day. So if she have mental problem, there is a way that they speak. They would ask you one question 99 times. They will say the same thing wrong. They'll go from the beginning again to the end every time you talk to them. And she is in her right mind. And I don't understand why they're treating her the way that they're treating her. What give the police authority to beat her so much? She just had a cesarean, and you beat her, stamp her on her face with your shoe print, stamp her on her chest with she have on a bluish whitish nightie, and all the foot is on her. I mean, come on, what crime has she committed, or what sickness does she commit that she cannot keep her child? I have no idea. So I really don't know the depths of what kind of illness she has. She don't have AIDS. It's not like though when she breastfeed the child gonna get sickness. All that was written off in the hospital that she's healthy. That's what the doctor said to me. She is healthy. Are you giving her depression tablet? She says no. Is she on a suicide watch? She said no. Then what is the problem? She said she can't tell me. But you're answering me, so how come you can't tell me? So I don't know. Tomorrow, praise the Lord, I'll be able to give you guys more in-depth story of what is going on. I wish I can get her to come on so she can talk, you know? Sometimes she probably not. I don't know what they're seeing, but I don't know. And I think that ask first for permission. because the last time we got in trouble with her because we just wanted to find out, we felt sorry. So we just want to find out what's going on with her. And then that got us in trouble. So I say, you know what, let's write her off. But this time when she's calling, she need help. And nobody is standing, I'm with her. So today when she called me back about, today when she called me back about 2:45, about 2:45, they take the child in the rain. So they had no blankets for the child, no covering. And the guy is going on. Pastor Tex, I'm telling you, they had no blanket and they just dragged the baby out of the house. All right. Okay. Let's see how we could settle the matter. So she had a list of calls and then they add me into the call. So I could not talk because I don't know who is on the other line. I don't know what they know from what I know. So I just kept quiet and let everybody else talk. And I just pray that somebody will take up that case and go and find out, because they must be in depth of this situation. No doctors can just drag you in, which they did. And I was on the phone when she was screaming, Pastor Tex, and the doctor keeps saying, well, who is Pastor Tex? I said, I'm on the line and I can hear you guys. And she's bawling, oh God, Pastor Tex, oh God, say something. We need people. And then the guy said, please just help us, not just help us. So that's how I was able to get the ministers and them involved in that. But today, this is a different situation. And I mean, she's on my page, on my Facebook page. So every morning she would call me. I'm on the air and she will still call. I don't know. John, we need help. We need help of this situation because.
Good night again to everyone. It's a nice night to be here with you after a very long break of being on the show.
After 2,000 hours.
I appreciate you accepting me being here tonight. Good night.
After being fired, you got to come back. Redemption.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're my boss. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
I
I was listening to the woman this evening on Junior George show.
Yeah.
And she seems to be very intelligent. She knows everything about herself.
Hey.
The craziest people who was taking care of her, based on what she was saying. If I have to assess her from just looking at the Junior George show, I think she's very well-mannered, well-knowledgeable.
Yes.
Very cognizant of her situation. And I think the people who are taking care of her supposedly need to be in good standing medically. I oftentimes have problems with police who have no training in mental health. Police have no conflict resolution training, right? They know how to police people. They know how to manage an illness. This is not their call. You need people who are trained psychologists to handle a situation like that, who can listen to the situation and make an intelligent decision as regarding to a patient. My question is, where are the doctors, the orderlies who should be trained in that field to have, if she's irritated, how do you calm that person down? How do you talk them out of the high horse so that you can bring them down to a level where they could come cool and calm and collective with you? How is she able to communicate with you, Tex? And they are with her and they can communicate on her level. You see? So there's a problem of a communication problem. And that's where a lot of people lose people because they don't know how to communicate with them. The police is not trained to deal with mental people. And if she's a mental case, they are not trained to deal with that. So you call up to come to someone, all he knows is to submit, to subdue somebody, and not by words, but by force. And so to use force to have in subjection, right? Mm-hmm. And when that is not going their way, they become brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened in her situation. So whatever the situation is, I think you need some more people in Grenada who has a better understanding of human behavior, human psychology. They have to have, because when I listened to her this evening, she was being very, very, very explicit and mannered, everything about her was cool,
Yes, she is.
very cognitive of what she's going through.
Yes, she is. She is.
She described her ordeal in, I mean, like, I could see a picture on the wall, it's like Station of the Cross. You know, you go to the Catholic Church and you go to the 13 stations, you see everything she said was so plainly and easily explained. There is no need to doubt, because it was right. I mean, like a picture on the wall.
Yep.
Everything she was explaining how her situation was. So for me, I have a serious problem when the medical facility and the people who are trained turn over a patient to the police. It means that you're not doing your job. It means that you're not capable of handling a situation like that. So something goes wrong somewhere. And I think when people think that you have a mental situation, they treat you like that, they don't investigate you and find out what, listen to you anymore. They label you and they keep that label on you and they treat you as what they think you are. And that's a big one of the problem.
But the thing is, when she gave birth, the doctor said on the phone, when I was on the phone with her, the doctor said she lose 2 extra liters of blood. That does not qualify one, like I said to the doctor, that does not qualify one to have C-section, or it does not qualify one to destroy the girl tubes. You can't just pick a person up and tie their tubes. It doesn't work like that.
I heard she said too that they wanted her to tell her tube that's the only whole condition she get her child, right?
Yes,
No.
yeah, that's true.
That is medical sabotage, yeah, in my view. Yeah, you really putting something on somebody and forcing them to make a decision, right? In your best interest, not in the child's interest. I mean, I do not know how many children that she have before. Whatever, how many children she have should not constitute you to determine, make a decision for her, tell her, if you don't do it, you can't have your child. I mean, who are they to tell her that? Everyone,
I was standing right there when I was on the phone, and the doctor said to her, if you want your child to go home with, you have to tie your tubes. I asked the doctor, is that the qualification? Because that's not right. It's not legal. They didn't prep her, they drag her in kicking and screaming. Her phone at the last, before she get into the room, her phone dropped on the ground. So they drag her in. They didn't make her walk in behind them.
right.
That's it. And that's how it's going to be. You don't treat people like that. What is she? I said to her on the phone so the doctor could hear me. I said, I think the doctor could not have children and she's just against everybody that having kids. That's what I said on the phone and she heard. You know my mouth. I mean, I does not put my mouth in bucket to speak to anybody.
I know.
So she just said, you know what? So who's that person? I said, my name is Texman Warren. And guess where I'm from? Canada, and I'm on Gem FM. Find me any day, let's talk. But she didn't say anything after that. It's not right. It is totally not right. And then police and them, I remember when I was probably about 18 years old, and there was a man named Mr. Duncan or Dunker, something like that. He lived on Williamson Road, and he is a mental. Miss Phyllis is his son. It's his mother. And I remember the police and them come, and that time I didn't know about no psychology, nothing. And I ran and tell them. So I stood between him and the police, and I says, a police in a uniform cannot come for people that have mental illness. You got to come in a different clothes. Go back and change. Just check. If you want to take him, change your clothes. Once the clothes is changed, they don't see the threat. You go for a mental person and they see the uniform, they're gonna get on, they're gonna see all kind of things, they want to fight you. Once you change that clothes and you put on light color clothes, they'll go with you. There's something about white, they will go with you. Man, even in Canada here, these police and them that going for mental illness, with people with mental illness, they're shooting them because why? These people don't like uniform.
And not only, I think when you have a system that does not train its people properly, you have those situations existing. you have a lot of people in the United States, we could talk about that, who have been shot because of a mental illness, and they have a blade in their hand, and the police shouldn't get a knife. I mean, if you're well trained, I might have the knife in your hand, you can be able to take it from him. Yes, there's no need to shoot him, fatally shoot him and kill him if you have a knife in his hand. To me, that is a police that is not well trained. I just deliberately want to kill that person. Now, if a person have a knife in their hand, right? I saw a video from African police, a guy wielding a knife, a machete at a police officer. And the police officer go right into him and take the machete from him and say, hey, they need to train American police officers. Because this man walk right up to him, wielding the blade. You walk right up to him, subdue him, take the blade from him. Another one, in a situation, they had one with a net, they throw a net, and they capture the guy. You don't need little force to deal with mental illness. You need people who could understand people and talk them out of the situation. Cool, calm, and collective. I think what needs to happen is that you have to have training beyond the gun. You know, not by force, not by fire, but by clear understanding of the present situation. Is she not a threat to you, right? How do you talk somebody out of a situation? And if people are angry, doesn't mean they have mental illness. A lot of people use, when somebody's angry, somebody for something, first they say, you're mentally ill. You may have mental problem. No, I'm angry, I'm upset with you. Does it make me mentally ill? No, I'm not. And that's one of the things that people have to get to understand. Because if, you know, like Saturday I was at the park, and we had the one space park out for cars to park in. And a guy came in, he didn't ask no question, he just removed all his stuff and get somebody to park in. So when I say, why are you doing that? You ask for permission to do it. We've been here since morning, or we cater parking for our people. Oh, don't worry, she's not staying. I say, no matter if she's staying or not, you didn't ask permission. And, you know, I just walk away, and I was in the old journal about the creeping, you know? I just walk away, and the lady said to me, another sister, Pastor Joan, Evangelist Joan said to me, he lucky not somebody else from another place. I know she didn't want to say the place, but there would be a different situation. It would never be like that, you know? So people sometimes kind of mislabel people, you know? And a lot of times that lady today, when I listen to her, if any doctor, psychologist listen to this woman, they ask who is really sick here? Is the patient or the doctors? You know what I mean?
She's not on meds. She's not on no depression meds. She's not on anything. The only thing that they had her on was on the high blood pressure pills. And I said to the doctor, why would you have on high blood pressure pills when you are the one that's stressing her out? She's panicking. That's why she have high blood pressure, because you stressing her out.
High blood pressure today too. That, you know, she first time she blood pressure go up to that high, you know? So I don't know. I still am baffled. I was listening to this thing coming home this evening, and I was trying to figure out, why are they treating this woman this way? Why did they treat her that way? Because here's an intelligent woman, and let me put the word black, intelligent black woman who very much cognitive and able to speak for herself. You know, I think when you're that intelligent and the people that you're talking to is not that intelligent as you, they want to make you feel that you're crazy. You know?
Yeah.
And
because she was washing and she left the clothes because she said, the rain is about to come down. So she went inside in the room to look after the baby because she wanted to feed the baby. They break down the door. They grab the husband and put his hand in his back so he could not fight with the police. Oh, they just beat her. They beat her to a pulp today. And that happened in Grenada. In Grenada, it happened. Man, God, if I was on vacation, you guys would have never seen me more than coming and knock like the jail door like this to see me. It wouldn't have been an easy chance. That's not fair. Why are they doing to her? Huh?
I am listening, and I don't know. I just feel that there is a missing piece, right? There got to be some kind of history, because even if you say whatever happened in the hospital, now she went home, and a few days later, police show up at home just like that.
Yeah,
that just does not make sense. There's a missing piece. There's some history that we're missing. I mean, I don't want to judge, you know, her or the police or whatever. Yes, if they went on overkill, it's overkill. Yes, stamping somebody, beating somebody, you know, I don't see it necessary. I mean, a woman that you can't, control, even if she is resisting, that you can't control to the
Because
point
she
that
said
you have
they're not
to.
going to take the child, so she barred the door and they break it down.
Mhm.
But the thing is,
But there is a missing piece.
if there is a missing piece, I'm talking to her since before she gave birth. I talked to her after the birth. I talked to her before and during the time going into the surgery. When she come home, I'm talking to her, and that's every day I'm talking to her. So if
But you also said that there are children in the past that was taken away from her. There
okay,
has to be a
so
reason.
so the mother, okay, so I can't say this in the air. The first child that she had, because of the mother do her thing and human trafficking, take whatever, and she's angry from there. So when she make the second child, and so she had the last one before this one, and it was probably a year because the both of them was in diaper. So one was a year older than the other one. So based on what I know or what I heard from her speaking to me for all this time, is something to do with something which is private. I'll talk about that private. So now she went back. So she stayed at the mother for just before she gave birth because it was easier for her to get transportation where she was living with the mother to the hospital than where she went back with the boyfriend. So she spent probably about 3 weeks there with the mom. Certain things come on because they didn't want her there and the fighting starts and whatever. This girl is suffering from the time she was 13 years old. She's suffering. From 13 years old, she is suffering. So it's really something else. But what they do today, my concern is what they do today, they was wrong. They're wrong on every level. That's not the way to treat anybody with any. If they supposedly say that she have mental illness, you can listen to that girl talk. And when you hear her talk, all you're doing, the tears just come in automatically.
Yeah.
Mother.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that there has to be some history,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to hear that.
Even though there's a history in that there is no need for that kind of treatment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my past history and my state, right, should not constitute you to treat me as my past. You see? So our history will determine about us. But if we are now in the present and my situation does not constitute that, because I react to you a certain way, it doesn't have to be of the past situation. I'm taking more responsibility for myself. I can speak for myself better now. I should be treated as how I am right now. Don't go come and harass me or treat me because of my record in the past. That's gone. This is an old whip. You can't be that body with that whip you have now. That body is done, So for me, when I heard her today, I'm thinking like, really? Am I listening to that woman in her sane mind? What's going on here? Because any intelligent being will recognize another intelligent being. Yeah. And I heard her today. I listened to her for about half an hour, talking. And I'm thinking like, who is really out of work here? Because I couldn't fathom why they're saying that she's sick in that sense. There's the one time for she rights, fighting for her rights, and accusing her of being mentally disabled. That is not right. This is not right. Something had to give. Something had, and like I said to you, that there is something there that the what do you call them, the CPA, they call them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this much people need a refresher course. Yes? You need a refresher course. This cannot be right. Okay. Yeah, that cannot be right. Something have to be given. Yeah. Well, Rebecca Maku, good night again. And I see Olivet is on here. Teresa Dale Kellys. And good night, ladies. I'm tempted to join you guys this morning, but I had to go early. So I just left. But one day I'll be back in the morning just to say hi. I'm back. Hi to greet the new people and that is in the live from Ghana, from West Africa and so on. Yeah. But it is what it is, you know, and I hope that this situation resolved in an amicable way and that persons could have better. You're muted, Teresa.
No, actually, I was just responding to the notes that I saw there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tex, I better understand now.
Yeah, so in order to cover that track, you have to cover the big people. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is kind of unfortunate, but given the present state of affair, you can't use that old whip to be that new body. You know what I mean? You can't do that. Let it be fair, you know, and give her the benefit of the doubt. Give her the benefit of the doubt. And she make mention that you don't put each other on for less than a minute. Raise the child on his stomach and then they take it away. You know, you don't do that. You try to traumatize her. You know? It's provoking trauma. You know, they become insurrectionists instead of medical facilitators. They're not trying to help her. You know, to me, based on what she's saying, they create more harm than good. You know, more harm than good, and that's not good. You know. Wow, it's amazing. So I just wanted to pop in by you tonight when I heard they talking about that. I didn't know you know that person so much. And I just thought I was listening there, just came in from work. You know, I told you I was on the street, right? Tex? Yeah. I came home, I just started to hear you talking about that. And there's a certain thing I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm hoping that, I don't know if you guys prepare for that tonight, but I don't want to intervene in your program to talk about it. Someone, I have a guy who I want to bring on your show. His name is Ghana, Liverpool. I'll give you his number so you can call him and make arrangement for him to come on this show next week or something like that. It's about men and
I
legal.
was listening to him last night.
So I want you to get him on your show with you and Teresa and Rebecca and Olivet. I won't be in it, so your show will be you and him and all the ladies. Because a lot of stuff that he said last night, and he need a full show to explain more of that by himself. And I think it's a good place to have him to talk about those things. Because those things that men need to know, their rights in the law and how they could facilitate their own legal situation for themselves without spending the money to get the result that they want. So that's a good show for you to have him on to talk to it. And he's willing to come on the show. So just call him. I'll leave you his number so you can make the contact with him for next week, Wednesday night, or whenever you think to have him on again. Another thing I want to ask, I know Tex is married, Oliver is married, Teresa probably married with me, I know. Rebecca's about to get married, I don't know. Well,
funny you said that, and last night I dreamed I got married.
I gotta start preparing my crimpling shoes, short and pants. I gotta start getting myself together for that wedding. Make sure you have all along that wedding. So I coming.
Oh, John. So, like I tell you about the girl, Gem FM is doing a lot behind the scene. We're working with a lot of different people. And the only how I can talk to her is because Gem FM is serving people in that condition in Grenada.
Good.
Doing a lot of work.
It's a good thing. You know, I wish we could do more, reach more people and touch more people's lives and change more lives. It's gonna happen in a bigger way. Everything starts with a single step. So I'm hoping that we as an organization, Gem FM Media, can reach out and touch more lives and do more things for more people. Hence, also, I put up GoFundMe. There's a GoFundMe, Jim FM GoFundMe, which is to raise $100,000, you know, to do a lot of things because we will need some equipment to help do to fast it and do a lot of things that we want to do. Go to places that we need to go with the right equipment and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Also out there. I want you guys to share the GoFundMe with your friends so they can donate to Jim FM as well. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I'm happy to be here tonight for a short time. And yeah. So Tex is back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So like I promised you guys this morning, John is gonna come on to preach a word.
Well,
Pamela Simon is gonna come on to greet us. And who was the next one? Anne-Marie Williams. So 3 people. So now we just get an answer from John. He is coming on one morning. We don't know when, but he's going to come on and give a word that saith the Lord. And he's going to encourage us. And I tell you, that word is going to be sharp. Look out for it. Look out for it. If you come on every morning with us, you would hear him one morning. I can't promise you when, but I promise you he's going to be on. I'm telling you today, everything froze. All my equipment died. John called. Everybody say, "Ha, is it John?" Everybody woke. So I'm telling you, this man is a man of God. He know when the equipment is done. Apple is working hard behind the scene, fighting with Google, and John just called. And the phone give John name. Everybody phone, the name came off my phone when John called. John Cleese. I said, wow, I wonder why is he calling now? Is he calling to pray? And everything turned back on. So we give God thanks. I told you this guy have some kind of anointing upon him, Pastor John. Good night. So I wouldn't fire you no more because you know you're Pastor John. So I have to
I walk into a salon last time and I say, they say, hi, good night. I say, oh, Pastor, how you doing? I say, me. Pastor John. Everywhere I go, I went to this heart story thing with some women, right? So men were walking out and they say, hi, Pastor. I said, no, I'm not. He said, no, you're a pastor. He's a new. You don't want to claim it. So I think I walk out we make about 10 steps and one lady called me again. Pastor, can I talk to you for me? Yeah, so people have this thing about calling me pastor. And I remember one time my daughter came to me. We came from a church session, and she looked at me and she said, Daddy, out of all these people who claim to be pastor, I know you, according to the scripture, you only qualified person among them to become a pastor. Yeah, she said that to me. I said,
out of babes.
I said, you're the only person among them that is qualified to be a pastor. She said, check it what he said in Timothy. You qualified to be so. There's no theological class to go to. The Bible gives the reason, give the guidelines, and you fall right in it. So I take that, and then my wife one time, out of the blue, just call me Pastor John. And I was doing something one night, and I was doing a show one night, and she just opened the door to the studio. You see why people just call you Pastor? You're delivering. But the thing about it is, if you know the word of God, and you could bring it out, you could explain it, you could give the lessons out of it. It's like anything you learn in school. You remember, I know if who here remember comprehension for GCE, that little blue and white book. You remember Tuesday? Remember that book? Master in Modern English.
John, we are older than you, John.
That sounds more familiar.
Yeah.
We are older than you, John. So what you're talking about, we don't know.
Okay, let me take this phone call.
Okay, bye. So we give God praise. John is talking about a book, and we are older than him. So John is a younger person than us. So that's why we passed that stage with that book. Minister Antoine, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. How you doing? So we were just talking about hurts and how people is hurting and how that young girl is hurting and what can we do or how can we, I mean, yeah, praying for her, yeah, it's gonna work. She's gonna get a miracle, but people like that, they just need you to constantly be talking to them and just giving some word of comfort, not even word of comfort, just being on the phone and listening to her talk, you know. So just trust God and hope that everything work out and God is able like to heal her from that traumatic experience today. They really did a number on her. The foot was on her face, on her chest. You can see the nightie she was wearing, how they abused her, the police abused her physically, mentally by taking the child and then put the child back on her and take the child again. That's what you call stress beyond stress. It's just, I don't know, probably if I was down there, you guys, all of you guys would have to take a plane ticket and come and bail me out. I would have become her mother. I would have gotten some.
I'm wondering if the father has any rights, if he can go to wherever they have taken the child and or go to social services or something to see if he.
Okay,
he's
so
the other legit parent.
So when the doctor says that, we're trying to get hold of him, we're trying to get hold of him. I said, well, if you're trying to get hold of him, just simply call him. Then she said to me on her phone, and what's her name phone? Well, we try. In less than 2 minutes, the guy walked in the hospital. I say, ask the question if you can have the child, because if the mother can have the child, you are the father. So talk up. So I was on the phone and she's just lying there, not saying anything, just groaning with that high blood pressure. He turned and asked the doctor, can I have my child because the child is mine? The doctor turned and tell him, you cannot have the child to go home. If she does not have the surgery of tying her tubes, the child is not leaving the hospital. That was the order of the doctor.
Why does she have to tie her tubes?
I'm telling you, I give God thanks I was not.
Listen to me. After I had my third child, right? My doctor said to me, you having the children too fast, and because I had 3 kids in 5 years. Okay. And he said, we can tie the tubes. And at the time I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to have any more kids. So maybe it's a possibility. Hello. And this is in North America, right? He was not the one who, well, I thought he was the one to do the operation, but another doctor came to me the following morning and started talking to me about the process. What could happen. And I listened to her and I said, okay, can we put this on hold? And she was like, you don't want to do it? And I'm like, I'm saying put it on hold until I see my doctor. And when I saw him, I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to control myself. I mean, the process of tying your tubes is the medical thing in the background, because it can go well and it cannot go well, in the sense that, okay, even if you tie your tubes, you can still get pregnant and that child could be in the tube. And I'm thinking of our medical services back here, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go through that process. So you can't just pull somebody and the person have to agree. I just don't understand it.
And when another doctor came on the evening show, on the evening thing, I speak to, I think I have their names right down. And the doctor says, no, she didn't have surgery. And she says, yes, look at my stomach. And then the doctor says, but he just had a baby. And she said, yes, they cut me this morning and they tied my tubes. She said, I don't have that file. I don't know what I said, but if you're on the evening shift and the doctor in the morning do that surgery, it's one card, it's one paper, one file, one everything. Everything is right on from the date she entered the hospital to the date that she leaves. It either hang on the edge of the bed or it's on your desk. It's not file away. It's not in a box because it's there. It's right there. She says, "Oh, we don't have it." I say, I give God thanks I sit in Canada because it would not have been easy. I would have taken ownership that I'm the mother of that girl. It's not easy. After they give the girl a break, after they give her a break and they say everything is going to be okay, and we look into the matter, we solve the situation, everything is going to be okay. And now today, this morning, I'm in the library doing another show, and she called bawling.
It's not in Canada.
No, it's in here. Oh, that couldn't happen here, and I'm here. You kidding me?
That part I don't understand. Why would they go back to the house today to take the
that-
child away? I don't get that.
That makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it, but when we come to the Caribbean, like when you're doing to tie a tube, the doctor they have to have
Yeah, it happened here. They called Caribbean the third world. It happened right. Things like that happen right here in North America. Right here in North America. All this nonsense you hear me talking about, it happens too right up here. Not here is the third world. The Caribbean is well developed. I don't know what happened today, but I don't want to say exactly what I want to say. So,
to protect the doctors in case she sue. You could say, well, look, she signed a consent. So I don't understand.
Exactly. There was paperwork for me to sign. And I said,
Yeah.
hold up on it when I heard, when I got all the details, I said, hold up on it.
Yeah, they don't have it.
So I don't understand that. She or somebody must sign on her behalf for this operation to take place.
Exactly. And then to do it, it's worse for the doctor than the patient. Because it's money spending.
That stick was taken care of by one. Shut up. This thing.
Yeah, there's a cover up going on.
Read the comments, read the chat privately, and you would understand a lot more of really what.
I'm just not surprised when it comes to the police with mental health. That's all over.
Right. I can understand, they're not understanding how to deal with, persons, whatever, they're not trained, like John said. And so I would think that if something like that was happening, social services would have been called. They were the ones to go. If there is some feeling that the child is in danger and they need to take the child away, it should have been social services, not the police.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
As the police, the police does not understand de-escalation. They escalate everything. They don't it at all. And you see it all over in the States where a mentally ill child is there waving a knife in their hand, and the sniper, they just shot the child. But the child is mentally ill, have a mental health history. That's how it is. I'm not sure.
You know what I don't get to? They don't shoot to say, okay, just to limp the person, so probably shoot them in the leg or whatever. They shoot to kill. Like, hit the biggest.
That way. That's what they were.
That's the American, the Bible. They say, kill first and ask questions after. It is.
I just want to come in for a quick minute just to say that for this situation that's escalated to this point where they've done what done to her, it's not acceptable. We may not know all the details behind it, and there are things that are hidden behind it, because for this to have happened, there's got to be more information that is not being given out, and they have to do it under cover and do it in a strategic way so that it will be done in a clean slate, so that there's no trace of anything or any fingers being pointed. So when all this is going on, we just see the manifestation now of what is taking place that was already planned to have done before. But because it's now become more exposed, so like somebody has leaked out something's being said, now, somebody's quickly hide the images or themselves so they won't get caught in it. So whoever is looking after and being aware of her or well-being is now wanting to feel like it's something that was done on her own. But as you said, there's no evidence of it, which tells me that something is about to open. Something is about to transpire from all this, because the evidence is now on the person, right? So, and even when this is happening, it's not okay for it doesn't matter what the history of the person is. The most important thing is that the well-being of the person is intact. Here we talk about mental health and mental issues going on. So then find the resources that need for this person can overcome it and same time try to live a normal life. Because every one of us have a life to live on the face of the earth. And no matter what your connections and what you plan on doing, it will be exposed. It is going to expose no matter what, even a month or 2 months, 3 months, a year, it's going to be exposed. Something is going to happen where that is just exposed to somewhere. So as we're here, we are praying, we need to give encouragement, yes. But just one the area I'm looking at is we want to get the dad involved in taking the child, right? And then be involved in her life to stand support. We can't hear you, Minister Tex.
He was right there this morning when they came. When they break down the door, he was in the house. It's not like though he was not in the house, he was inside the house. When they push him aside, break the door down where she was, because they have 2 bedrooms there. Yeah. And they held him back so he could not help her. 4 police
because he's
just
not
come
a
from
part
one
of the equation. He's not a part of the equation. They come with the assignment to come for her in particular, whether who is standing there or not. They're not a part of what they're coming to do. Their assignment is to come specifically, and no matter what happened, bring back the person or get the person so we can do what we need to do. So as much as he was there and trying to help, he's not a part of it. So he can only do so much. Matters where he may not even know a lot of information and depends on how much of them come. He was not able to defend himself with the number or whoever came along, right? And he's just shocked, maybe just looking on to wonder, where do I stand? But again, they become an authority. So however they come, I mean, we don't know the whole.
According to him, in all the mess that was going on, they just came in the house. It's not like though they knock and he opened the door. They just came in the house and they just do what they want to do. They grab him first,
right.
And then they break the door down and go in and drag her out, beating her up.
That's the assignment.
That's
the assignment. Because how can you do that to somebody without having the respect of honoring those in the house first and make them aware that you're coming or knocking the door and, make it be a pleasant visit. So you can say the visit was not pleasant, so it was not planned. That's the assignment they had to do. And this is where I say, where is the governing body, the police force, or those who supposed to stand in this? So it sounds, it sounds gruesome, to be honest with you, for that to happen to someone. It does.
That's all I'm going to say. It's coming from the top.
It is
from a normal person. Because
it's not.
We can afford to ask the question, what the authorities and them is trying to cover. What are they covering? So it's something that starts from the top to the bottom. It's not from the bottom to the top.
Right.
Because
they're coming in with a force of authority.
It doesn't add up because
so
it
we
doesn't
believe
really
in God is everything's gonna be exposed. In the fullness of time, it's gonna be exposed, and we're gonna see justice come to flourishing and where it ought to be, so that we can hear the testimony of the life of this person, so that somebody else can hear that story and be encouraged. So all this is happening now is for a reason. It's escalating now. It's escalating now.
But it doesn't make sense because, first of all, to bust down someone's door, it must be a drug heist. This is a regular home, and for that level of aggression, there's something behind. It doesn't make sense. And then Are they resisting arrest? What's the need for the force? Force is when somebody's resisting. You just go into someone's house. So there's something more to the story. It doesn't make sense.
But where's
It
the
doesn't-
identification? Right? Could you, when you come to somebody else, you're supposed to have a badge or something, or your garment or something to say, I'm coming in for this purpose, because you're honoring the government body, right? Or where you work or such forth. You represent somebody to walk in. So if you don't come in with that badges to identify yourself or in a respectful manner, something else is taking place,
You need a warrant.
right? So all
Was there
doesn't
a
make any. There's a lot more involved in this. We just, we're just here to say, we hope, we pray that whatever is happening, God will expose it, and that help
I share it
will come
on my
in.
Facebook page, so you guys,
Answered.
it's shared on my Facebook page, so you guys can get like the detail of what happened this morning. According to
Okay.
Marilyn Douglas, this is they are making her more sick than ever, which is true, because when they come in and they beat her and they take the child, why would you then turn around and put the child back on her stomach and take the child again? Shut your mouth. Shut up. You're going to say things and expose this thing that, to shut your mouth.
I would have gone to jail. I'm sorry.
They hamstring her in the hospital. They literally throw her out, and she had to sleep in the what do you call it? The
corridor?
No,
The corridor of the
yeah, the corridor, and the baby is inside. She decides she's not going, and so why don't you just go back in and lie down there? Just go in and go back on the bed that it was on. So we coax her. Okay, she was able, we talk to them, she was able to go back in. They give her a clean bill of health for the child, and then they give her now, okay, the permission to go home. They drag her in, emerge, you cut her, you do the surgery, you do what you have to do, you chop her up in different pieces, who know, God know what, they and they take out, Texas, shut your mouth. God know what they take out and sell out of, shut your mouth, Texas. And I'm telling you, this is wrong. This is wrong on every level. God is good. The truth is gonna eventually come out, It's gonna come out. She's very intelligent. If you listen to her speaking on the Facebook page, you're gonna say, huh? But this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. She speaks. Oh my God. She's so intelligent. Listen to her. She's on my Facebook page. And I'll keep sharing it over and over. Every morning, I'll share the same page.
Let's pray that justice is served, because I think some people abuse their powers and their authority. Pray that justice is served, because that's not how you treat people.
Marilyn is saying, oh, that's not the right way, or that's not the right thing, how to treat human. You don't even treat a dog that way. To just drag somebody like, man, I don't know.
Well, that's why we're saying that it sounds like somebody's on an assignment. Money's on it, money's involved. Who knows what involved in this position, title? You don't know what involved, but as you continue to escalate, it's going to spill over, and then we're going to all hear, the nation, the whole world is going to hear about it, because this is a very unusual case that come to Gem FM and come to our attention. So it's important. And I thank God that when things like this come to our attention, it's God want to expose the work of wickedness behind closed door, so we can see that even in other nations around, things are taking place where it's not healthy, and women are also caught in it, as well as the baby was involved in it, and so others were involved. And this is where we come in and make it exposed, so that others can know what is really going on in their community, in their neighborhood. People can open their eyes to see what's going on, because so many unhealthiness is going on, and behind closed door, even next door to your neighbor, you don't know what is going on. So for us is to keep our eyes open and see any changes that we see going on. Don't shut down from it. keep an open eye, because you never know that person's life can be saved just by our opening our eyes and make somebody else know what is taking place, because it is happening right now everywhere. Things are happening.
The community that one of my concern, the community that she's living in, like nobody couldn't come out, nobody couldn't stand for her. That girl is in the hospital and nobody, like, I think she alone lived on the island of Grenada, she and the husband. Nobody stood up for that girl. Nobody. It is so heart-wrenching to hear that girl cry. It's so painful. She had the first one, certain things happened. Then she had the other two. There was a year apart. They come and they take the children. The man is in the house. You come and you take the children. Like they are the owners of the children. It's so beyond me. It is so painful that I don't know.
Then you tie her tubes. There's something that doesn't make sense at all.
There's 1 out of 1 million women like that is being happening to even tonight where you're talking. There's things happening behind closed door that women are going through. And when we talk about even men, young boys, girls, things are happening too. That is taking place. So it's an awareness that's coming, that we're bringing light to, and things that is really happening, so that we can again see what is going on around us, because things are
the other one that is big. This girl or woman, she went to give birth in the hospital, so she was able to push because she was fully dilated, so she pushed. The shoulders of the child could not have come through the birth canal. So probably they squeezed the head, the doctor squeezed the head. They could have called for another doctor. They could have called for somebody. Is there mercy? How they wring the child neck like to come out, but or they pulling and pulling and pulling on the neck, dislodge the neck. So they went in now. After they figure out they couldn't take the child out, they go in and have C-section, pull the child from the other part, from the stomach, wrap it in a blanket with a head on, and when the girl stretch her hand and take the child, the head fall out. I am telling you, I know why the Lord have me home and not outside it. Now I understand my calling to sit on this chair for the whole day. I understand this. And that poor woman, well prepare her home to receive that child. Well prepared, she and her husband must be talked overnight about the child, and the child is going to born, and they're probably going to have a fine time. They're going to bring home the baby, because when you go to the hospital, your expectation is coming home with the child. If the child dies, it's okay. But to give a mother a piece of child, you know what you do? You're ripping her soul from inside her outside. You couldn't call an ex-doctor. You couldn't call somebody. And the nurses there, nobody said anything about the child. And when they hand her, the head fall off. Listen to me. Let God be God. Every one of them.
These things are not used. These things are hidden. They're privately done. And it's only later on in life when somebody speaks about it, these things are really happening. But as I said, there's so many things are taking place quietly behind closed door until they're being exposed. But who is there to give support? Are you calling that's abuse? And so we are here as women again, sharing all this to let individuals know who are listening that real things are happening. And it's time for us to be aware, get involved, as well as in prayer, as well as in reach out, as well as in connected with your local church, where they are there for support and get involved also with your neighbor that are going to be there as support, positive support, because there's individuals around who would have that heart to help. And so this is where connection is important. He said, iron sharpen iron, we need to strengthen each other. It's not easy as we're speaking, but it's to put it out so that others will themselves look and say, yes, I can be a help. It's to get others come on board truly to say, I hear your cry. I hear this. And for even those in different careers or jobs, you know, who have that skill or that heart of compassion to said, I will now stand in situation and don't be a bystander, but be involved. It is so important for us to do wherever we are, and save or save. We just look at another person as you and I. It could be me. It could be my family member. So we have to start thinking differently with the mind now of a renewed mind, the mind of Christ, and said, Lord, cry out to God to say, Father, we need you. And we need your wisdom. We need to know what to do and how to help.
Yes.
John,
Rebecca.
John said it very plainly and true. This experience is going to be very dramatic for her. Unnecessary trauma. This is because the police and the doctors are there to bring peace and hope, but it's like it's the opposite. They've terrorized her, and you know the trauma that she's gonna go through, and then on top of that, tying her tubes. How's she's gonna get over this? How's somebody gonna get over this? The police and they have to be responsible. What was the need? What was the real need of doing that to someone? Like put yourself in that shoe. You have children, you know. What was the need in traumatizing someone, a home where the father is? It's not even that she's single, you know, but the father is in the home. So that is literally the plan of the enemy. That is plain darkness coming in. It doesn't make any sense. Because the enemy has used these policemen to do work for the devil and not God. The police are there to bring peace, justice, and you did the opposite. Why are you wearing the badge? Why are you a policeman? If you are there to terrorize people, you yourself need to be locked up in jail. You're a terrorist. You're causing trauma to people when you're supposed to be peacemakers, keeping the peace, not escalating, but you know, coming to someone's house and it's not like it's a drug bust or it's a functional home, or a father and a mother in a home waiting for a child to. It's something. There is something here, and this is to me where the Bible talk about principalities and wickedness in high places. This is exactly happening. Because it cannot be, you cannot tell me a police, a doctor, doing completely the opposite. Everything they're supposed to do, they're doing the opposite. That's just the plan of the enemy. Literally, that is the work of the enemy there, right there. And they've been used. They are used by the enemy. Because you're a policeman. How do you feel terrorizing a woman and her child? And then listening to Minister Tex, you take the child and then it doesn't make sense. That's what we need to, what we're doing is calling these things out.
Yep.
And begin to pray and pull on whatever principalities and so that this woman can get peace and resolution. It's unnecessary trauma caused by a system that's supposed to protect us. Doesn't
Well,
make
number
sense.
one, the police was not trained to save life. They trained to take life. Yeah. I keep telling people, if you and your children have a problem in the house, do not call a police officer. I beg you guys, unless the child gets onto a place where he or she have a gun in their hand. Yeah. Don't call the police. The police is not your counselor. Call somebody from next door to grab hold of that child, restrict that child, put him or her, sit down. When you call the police, they just come to destroy. That's all. You can't blame them. That's the training that they get.
I agree.
See, let me give you a chance. to talk.
I'm tired hearing that the police is not trained for this. Every year, go country upon country, the police is not trained for that. So why don't it become part of their training? I mean, I'm not saying that they will be specialists in it, but if you have certain persons within the force trained in that area, then they may know, okay, this is happening, but I need to call maybe social services to come along with us when we go to that home, right? I could understand that the police is going because there could be a measure of violence, like if somebody have like I say, a knife, a cutlass, whatever, that the police be there. But they should not be going there as the ones going to deal with the situation. But because they have a little training, they know, okay, I need to get social services, or I need to get, whoever to come along, and whoever is going to take the forefront, I'm going to be there as a backup. But you're always hearing that, but they're not trained, and it's not becoming part of the training, whether it's here in Grenada, in the Caribbean, in North America, same
That's
thing.
because they have to get special squad and train special squad for special assignment. But they have the drug squad, and they train the drug squad to go behind people with drugs. Why don't you train a set of people that they can go after people with mental illness? It's so easy. Get a new branch and give them. You're given ticket every day. You can have enough money to pay them. I don't know and what Trudeau is tonight, if you're hearing me. That's Justin Trudeau. I don't know where he is. Listen to me.
So right, because this is what I learned in my course. I was doing community work, and this is exactly all the teachers were saying, the same thing. The police are not trained to deal with mental health. They're there to not de-escalate, to escalate the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be trained to de-escalate. They need to take a little bit journey to maybe England. I don't know what, because it seemed like once they have that gun, the power gets to their head and they just feel like, whereas in England, they have no gun. So
in Grenada, they don't have guns. As an African, they don't have no guns in Grenada. No, they have a boot too. They don't have guns. They don't have no guns. We are free down there and from crime. The only people that commit crime in Grenada is police. There is
so a woman is fighting to hold her child. And I mean, from what I've seen on that video, you're cuffing her down, you're ripping her clothes,
busting
men fighting with women.
I told you guys it's on Facebook.
The devil is loose. He's not subtle anymore. I mean, he's just out there. He's really working hard and
unpossessed. I'm telling you.
We can only pray that these things will be exposed. Somebody seeing this video should, a lawyer, somebody should take up this child's case.
Yeah, there is one there.
Find out where this kid is. Where is the child right now? They take the child. Where is this child? Have they turned it over to a family member? I mean, why is the father not able to have his child? Something is just not meshing.
I don't want to call his name, but poor guy.
Sometimes it gets to their head and then they're demon possessed. They got to be. It is not logically human for you to strip somebody like that. Come on. No.
Very puzzled.
So share it. I'll share it again tomorrow, and I'll keep sharing it. So that
I haven't seen the video. I'm afraid to watch it.
I just looked at a little bit, and there are some persons asking her name if they can call her. So I guess
Yeah.
that person's going to take up that matter, man. I think so.
Please just imagine, Mr. Tex, you spoke with her. That must be so hard on you, because I would be, my God, I won't have peace. I won't sleep, because I would feel as if, my God, somebody's killing her.
Yeah, because when she called today, she was just screaming. I think I got the first call, and then I spoke to the husband, and he said, "Pastor, I don't know what." I said, "Okay, everybody just calm down," until he says, "No, they're there. They're beating her. They're beating her. I'm here."
He should have taken a video of, what is happening there.
No, they held him, so he cannot. The phone dropped, so he's speaking, and she's bawling. So it's like, hey.
That's when you needed a video to expose them, whoever
Yes.
it is. I don't know who it is, but this is really sad.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It was not easy hearing the agony that she cried out in this morning. So I leave here about 10:30. By the time I got to the library, my session was for 11. So about 11:15, it took place. 11:50, 11:20. I left everything and ran out the library. All my iPads and everybody was, thank God, ain't nobody trouble anything. It was so, I couldn't take it. My own self, I was crying up here as I'm getting the blows. Well, it wasn't easy, but we just pray that something happened, something happened, somebody say something, somebody do something. So, but it's gonna come to the opening. Whatever it is gonna come to the opening, and everybody's gonna know exactly really what's going on. But if they say is for mental health, I speak to people with mental health. I speak to people climbing walls, and she's nothing. I'm like that, nothing. And if so, then where is the medication? The only medication that they give her in the hospital was a medication for high blood pressure. And they're not causing it. Every day is quarreling. Every day in the hospital, I'm yelling. They're coming after her every day. Sometimes 3-4 times. I'm on the show. I have to pause. I'm the show, turn it over to Minister Antoine and take the calls. It's not easy. Every morning, it's like they're just designed to blow her brains. So, man. God, I don't know.
Somebody's going to take it on. Someone's going to take the case on, because it needs somebody to stand and give that support like immediately. It's an urgent matter. It's not something to linger on, because his life is involved. We need to know that someone hearing.
Nobody is standing with us. Nobody, Pastor, nobody is standing with us. Are you coming down? When he asked that question, I tell him my heart, my little heart that I have in my chest, he went down my foot and come back up. I didn't know what to tell him. I couldn't even answer and say, "Oh no, I'm in Canada." I couldn't say anything.
Well, the Bible saying everything give thanks. That's what we've been saying all week this week. Everything give thanks in all things. And this is to give God thanks. Yeah. As much as we've seen it, saying it, we have to give thanks, because no matter what they're doing, they can't take her life, because God has a plan for her. And he knows what will happen to her as she go through this. She'll be a testimony for the whole world, the whole nation. And so God has that plan for her. And even her children are lost. They're lost for a time, but they'll come back to her, because God will reroute everything and let her children come out to her at the right time. At the right time. So now she's going through this. God will supply all her needs, and let her know that the support is put around her. They're there for good. And so she will see, and she will have the memory. She'll have the memory to even able to write these things down in a journal at some point. God will bless her memory so she can write these things down in a journal so others will read it, will take it and run with it to help others. So again, we're just giving thanks to God in this situation that somebody is going to walk in and take this case up and will resolve whatever needs to resolve in this.
I'll see if I could bring her on in the morning. So you can just be with her and pray with her, just to comfort her, just so that she can talk in a different forum and to bring some real comfort, not much that we can do, but at least give her a chance to talk. Because in this time of her life, she would just want to talk. So let's give her a listening ears. If I'm able to bring her on in the morning, I will speak to the boyfriend first, and then I'll ask him for permission first before I talk to her. So I'm gonna call her tonight, and then I'll take it. So what we can do tomorrow morning, right? So as you go to bed tonight, please pray for her. If I'm to the boyfriend first, and then where's that coming from? Somebody have the Facebook page open. Okay. So we come to the end of the program tonight, which is heart-wrenching. We didn't come here for this. We come to speak about something else, but when things come up like that with ladies, it's hurting. I hurt because I understand pain. Not that type of pain, but I understand when a woman cries. So I'll try to bring her on in the morning and let her talk, and probably other people could come in and talk, like Marilyn could come in and ask questions tomorrow morning, and other people may able to come on tomorrow morning and ask questions. Then we're going to read the question out and see how we can just encourage her, because right now she needs somebody to encourage her. Instead of her just being alone in a corner, let her know there is other women out here that is really feeling for her. T, and if you want, you can just pop in and pop out.
I'll be home in the morning because the funeral tomorrow. So I don't know.
Oh, tomorrow is the funeral?
No, I'm saying I'll be home in the morning because of the funeral. I'm not going to
Could
work.
that thing turn off? Okay, it's off. Yeah.
And I'm saying I will be home in the morning.
Okay.
The funeral is tomorrow, so I'm not going to work.
Okay. What time is the funeral?
1 o'clock.
Okay, so I'll get the girls, they have to come on one morning. Not now. I'll give them some time, and then I'll get them to come on one morning, so we can give them a chance to talk, to see how they're feeling, how they're doing, and stuff like that. Just to embrace them and let them know that Gem FM is always there for them if they wanna just come out to encourage other children, the other youths. But I'll give them that opportunity to come on if they want to, when everything kind of settle down, probably a week or two after the funeral. Yeah. All right. So hi, Veronica is on. Hi, Veronica. And Teresa Dale Calise and Marilyn is on. She's really feeling it, man. It's not easy. And thank you, Marilyn. Anyway, we give God thanks for this hurting woman, and we're gonna see her again, and just encourage her. Let her know there's other women in the world that's standing with her to give her strength to go through that journey all by herself. And then I'll bring on Gibson one night, and let him speak about what's going on. Yeah. So we're going to do them separately. So at least we can get other men to support him, to give him a bit of a strength. And so we're saying good night and thank you everyone for coming on. And God bless you guys. Thank you, Minister Antoine, for coming on tonight, and T, the co-host of the show, the night show. And Becky, we give God thanks for you for coming on tonight. And let's rally around, keep each other in prayer, keep her in prayer, so that God will give her the strength. Amen. And good night. Thanks. This is Texman Warren on Gem FM. Bye-bye. Love you guys.